Alright guys and gals, today we're going to be installing a Harbor Breeze Saratoga ceiling fan from Lowe's. I've got to tell you, one of my favorite ceiling fans I've ever installed. We've probably got 4 or 5 other Harbor Breezes in the house, plus a couple Hunter ceiling fans, and you could even see one of my other videos on installing the Harbor Breeze. This is my favorite one so far, and you'll understand why. Just going to unpack the box, kind of show you what we got here before we get started. Obviously the blades, got a heat shield for the light kit. Down rod, a little short down rod, which probably takes care of most people's needs. These are just some of the covers that cover up the mounting bracket. Here's your light kit. And then over here we got some of the hardware, remote control. Yep, this ceiling fan has a remote control built into it. And guys, if this video helps you, please like, please subscribe. If you need some help, questions, comments, feel free to post below. I try to answer every single comment, and I'm usually pretty good at it. You got your globe for the light kit as well as light bulbs included. Always like that. And lastly, we have the actual fan motor. Pretty substantial fan motor. So once we get into installing this, you're going to see why I like it. Not only does it look great, it's just a great fan to install. So I'm starting with basically just a empty spot on the ceiling, and here's the bracket. Love this bracket. So you can see this bracket simply takes 2 screws. So we're going to go up to our mounting bracket on the ceiling, and you're just going to insert one of the screws, get it started, maybe thread it in about 1/4 of an inch. I'm not going to go into what's appropriate to mount to. I already had a ceiling fan here, but if you have a cheap plastic light box up here that was just designed to hold a light, you may need to get that reinforced. But if you're just replacing an old fan, or you have a pretty substantial box, you should be okay. So you'll see this bracket, it just slides onto that screw that you just threaded in. One side does. So it's going to just slide right on, and then you're going to take your other screw and put it in this hole right here, get it tightened down, and now you have a pretty secure bracket ready to hang a ceiling fan from. And that's pretty easy. I wish all of them were this easy. So now let's go to the ceiling fan actual motor and get it ready to actually be hung in the bracket. It's got this little piece of cardboard here, just designed to protect the motor from shaking and banging up against the sides during shipment. So remove that piece. And then we're going to take the down rod, and on the end it's got a little safety pin in here. So remove the little safety pin and the other pin as well from it. Put those aside, you're going to need them later. And then you're going to put these covers on the down rod exactly like you see. So this cover is going to go on that direction, and you have this little plastic clip or plastic ring, and then on top of that you've got this other ring which goes in the opposite direction. It opens to the basically toward the ceiling fan itself as opposed to the ceiling. So once you get those put on, take these wires, get the rubber band ripped off. You're going to have to thread these wires through your down rod. Nothing to it. So just thread the black and white wire that it comes with through your down rod. It'll come out the top with the green ground wire that was already attached. It's actually attached to the down rod, just for grounding purposes. And then before you go any further, there are 2 set screws in the ceiling fan motor. You just want to back them out. You don't want to remove them. Just back them out until you don't see them protruding on the inside where the down rod's going to go. This will allow you to get the down rod inserted in there. And let me get you a better angle. So once you get the down rod inserted in there, you're going to have to line up the hole in the down rod with the hole in the fan motor. And that's where you're going to insert that pin that we just took out. So you're going to see that while I'm doing this, I'm holding a camera in one hand and trying to get this pin with the other hand. And you'll see the struggle is very real. If I can do this while holding a camera, you can surely do this. So just get the pin through there. You may have to kind of twist and lift up on the down rod to get it to line up, but Nothing hard about this at all. Only when you only have one hand to do it would I actually consider it to be hard. So once you get that pin pushed through, you're going to insert your little safety pin back through that small hole just to make sure that this pin never comes out. And now our next step is we need to tighten those 2 screws that basically hold the down rod to the fan. So I recommend you tighten these evenly. So tighten one until it touches the down rod, then tighten the other one, and then go back and forth a few times. You want them to be snug, but don't try to over tighten them. You could in fact bend the down rod. So just tighten them until they're snug. And now you see this little notch right here on the down rod. I'm pointing that out because you need that notch to line up with this metal pin on the bracket you mounted to the ceiling. So get the wires out of the way, and this little pin right here, that's where you have to line up the ceiling fan, that notch in the ceiling fan down rod. And all that does is it prevents the ceiling fan from being able to spin. So you simply take this plastic ball, half ball on the end of the down rod, and it just pops right in here. And then you'll twist it just a little bit until you feel that pin snap into the down rod. And once you get there, the ceiling fan won't turn anymore, and it's supported, so you're good to go. I'm just going to cut off some length of wire here because you've got to ball all this wire up to get the cover on, so you don't need it all. I am not going to go into detail on how to wire this to the ceiling fan. It includes wire nuts. If you're familiar with that, there's nothing to it, but every person's house can be a little different with different color wires, so I can't give you a standard. In my case, I actually have 3 wires coming out of the ceiling. One of those is a neutral, and then I have 2 hots. One because I have a switch on the wall for the light, and I have a switch on the wall for the ceiling fan. However, with this ceiling fan, you only need one of those because this ceiling fan isn't designed to be controlled by the switch on your wall. It needs to be controlled by the remote. So I'm just going to tape off one of those hot wires that I got coming in from the ceiling fan, from the switch on the wall. But if you need any help or have some questions about how to wire it up, please just post below. I'll do my best to help you. Just tell me what color wires you have, and I'll try to help you get it sorted out. Now right here on the bottom of the bracket, you see these 2 little screws. They're kind of odd shaped with a weird head. Just loosen them. You don't want to remove them. You're just going to loosen them. And then this cover comes up, and basically it's got 2 screw holes, and then it's got a slot. So you push it up through the screw holes, and then you just twist it to lock it in, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about here. And then tighten those screws, and then take this ring, and this ring has slots as well that you're going to line up with the protruding screw hole. So you just line them up. It's really hard to see, but it's not hard to get on there, and you just twist it into place, and now it looks beautiful. Just make sure the ceiling fans can kind of move back and forth. And now here are the fans. I love these fans, and they are so easy to install. I wish all of them were this way. So you simply have these little rubberized, basically nuts that go in from the bottom of the fan. And then on the top of the fan, you put a screw in that screws into the rubberized nut. Make sure you put the brackets on the fan correctly. You'll see that if you're looking at the fan blade and it looks like a hill, you're putting this on the top part of the hill. It actually, if you try to put it on the other direction, on the other side, it just doesn't look or feel right. And some of these blades actually have a sticker telling you which side to use. So now let's get the fan blade inserted. So you simply insert it in this slot, and when you do, the holes just magically line up. That's what I love about this. You're just going to put 3 screws, the 3 screws in those 3 holes to put the blade on, and it looks just like this. It can't be any easier. And then you will repeat that for the other fan blades, and magically you have what looks like a ceiling fan. I think it looks great, and if you've ever put up other ceiling fans, you know that sometimes putting those putting the blades on is a nightmare. So now just undo the little wire tie, take the plastic off of the wiring coming through, and these 3 screws right here, the 3 closest to the center, you're going to want to remove one of them and loosen the other 2. And it does not matter which one you remove, just remove any one of them and loosen the other 2, because the little light kit heat shield is going to slide onto these screws, much like the cover, the top cover that covers the bracket that we just saw. It works the same way. So once you get those screws loosened and one removed, you'll take your heat shield and you'll see the screw holes with the slots on them. 2 of them have those, so you line those up with the screws you left in there. Remember, I'm holding a camera with one hand and doing this with my other, so this is not hard. Line the screws up and then just kind of twist it till it locks in place, and then replace that last screw. And once you get done with that, the heat shield is in place. And this is just a little light and heat shield. It helps reflect the light back down. And it also helps keep the heat from your light bulbs from kind of overheating the motor. So get those tightened down. And now we're going to install we need to install the actual light kit. So these 3 screws on the outside of the foil, you're going to do the exact same thing you just did. You're going to remove one, and then you're going to loosen the other 2. And the light kit mounts the exact same way. Before you mount the light kit, you've got to take the 2 wires and plug them into the 2 wires that are coming out of the fan motor. Nothing to this at all. They are color coded. So you just snap them in. And then once you get them snapped in, you are ready to twist on the light kit. And again, it mounts just like the others. Find the 2 screw holes that have slots in them. Line those up with the 2 screws you left screwed in. Twist it to lock it in place. And then replace the 3rd screw that you actually removed. And that's it. All the hard part's done now, so let's do some easy stuff. Let's put the bulbs in. Again, it comes with the bulbs, which I really like. Nothing worse, especially when you're dealing with these Type A bulbs and getting to this point and then realizing you don't have the Type A bulbs. I even like the globe. So this globe is actually, the glass on the globe is threaded. So you simply put it up here and it twists and locks in place. You turn it clockwise to lock it in place. Now let's go to the remote. I'm not going to insult your intelligence too much, but obviously take the battery cover off, take the battery out, insert the battery in your remote. Once you get that done, go restore power. Whether you had the switches off on the wall or preferably you had the breaker turned off so that you didn't electrocute yourself. So go restore power to the fan. And we're on the home stretch. So the last thing you need to do, on the battery compartment, press this little button right here, and it will sync with your fan. You'll know it's synced when the light flashes 3 times. And that's it. I hope this helped everybody. Please, like I said before, if you liked it, like, subscribe, comment below. See you next time.